It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Good morning, everyone. Well, morning if you're in America. It's Steph Beckett and
Gary K. And we are here live on rAVe TV, which comes to you live every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Yep. Restreamed at noon. But we're on ravepubs.com, youtube.com/ravepubs, Instagram, LinkedIn, I think, and Facebook. Is that right?
Yeah. Twitter.
Like maybe not Instagram. I can't remember.
Twitter or X or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, X too. Yeah, we were just offline talking about graduation speeches and how generally they're not that good, you know?
Yes, you play a lot in your class. And I took your class my senior year of college, and you always play like good ones because, like, of course, why would you play the mediocre ones?
Yeah.
So imagine my surprise and disdain when my graduation speech, like the big graduation speech for UNC, was this woman who wrote for The Guardian and was a really big writer, but her message to us, a bunch of 22-year-olds finishing college, was like, one day you're going to need to take care of your parents. They've taken care of you up until this point. So you need to prepare yourselves to be caretakers for your parents.
Well, and the parents probably liked it. The parents liked it, right? They spent all that money on college.
I guess, but the rest of us were like, hey, so we're 22. Like, what?
Yeah.
So didn't love that. But Cokie Roberts of NPR, she's passed away now, but she gave the journalism speech, and hers was really good.
Yeah, her son is our chancellor of our university now, Lee Roberts.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's her son.
Oh.
So he's doing a phenomenal job as chancellor of the University of North Carolina. So, and yeah, so he comes from a long line of journalists and politics because Cokie Roberts covered, you know, Washington, D.C. politics for years and years and years. But yeah, it's true. You know, I do in the class that Steph's talking about, which is a personal branding class. I have them watch a bunch of graduation speeches because I tell them theirs is probably going to suck. So you might as well watch some good ones. And some of the ones I show, just if you're curious, are Steve Jobs delivered only one graduation speech. I mean, considering he didn't go to college, or he went to college and then dropped out, didn't graduate, obviously. He gave Stanford's graduation speech, did a phenomenal job. Simon Sneak, I show his. He did a great job. I also show a few. I'm trying to think off the top of my head some of the other good ones that I show. What do you think, Steph? Do you remember any of them?
I remember you showed us Ellen DeGeneres's.
Yeah, that one's. She did a really good job for that because you know when they tell their own personal story.
Yes.
That's what makes it memorable, right? And then they relate it to you today. Right?
Yes.
And so maybe that lady who was doing your graduation speech was going through that, you know, parents at that moment in time, and that was her story. But what's the Stephen Colbert? I showed his too. His is really good.
And his is really good.
From Northwestern. He went to Northwestern.
My grad school speech was really good. It was given to Columbia's J School by Ira Glass.
Oh, I love Ira Glass.
Amazing. 10 out of 10.
American Life, for those of you who don't know, he's the podcast. Well, it started as kind of a radio show. It's really more of a podcast.
Yeah, now it is.
Random. Yeah. It's sort of like one man's 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
It's like little episodes, for lack of a better term. And then he also worked. He started a publication called Rookie with that little girl who was like 11, 12 years old that became a famous fashion. What's her name? Do you remember her name?
No.
Hold on. Let me, Rocky Magazine, Ira Glass, and God, I wish I were Tavi Gevinson.
Okay.
Yeah. Tavi, who became famous because at, let's see, what age, 12 or 13 years old, her mom received a phone call from the New York Times asking if it was okay for them to put her on the cover of the style section because they needed parental permission because of her age. And her mom said, "Why would you want to put my daughter on the cover of the New York Times?" And they said, "Oh, well, her blog now has over 1 million people reading it." She goes, "What blog?"
That is so funny.
Like, the mom didn't even know she had a blog being read by 1 million people. And she's blogging about tween clothing.
I love that.
For people that have never had tweens, meaning the kids between the ages of 12 and say 18, really. There's really no clothing company that targets them well.
No, it goes from like little girls' clothing
Yeah,
to like young adult clothing.
right. And then the girls that are wearing young adult clothing look like they're too young to be wearing it, right?
Yeah. So I think that there was just a lack of, like, a lot of department stores make clothing for juniors, which is technically what that tween is, but it's usually there's just nothing there that's good. So you're right.
Yeah. And they don't want to wear stretch pants anymore, or whatever those things were called, those cotton, like, really colorful.
Like, are you talking about parachute pants, Gary?
No, I'm talking about, like, they look like pajama bottoms. But you know how when you're like, say, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old, you send your kids to school with things that kind of look like pajama bottoms,
Yes.
like not jeans and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
then at like 12, 13, they don't want to wear those anymore, but they're not
Yeah.
ready to wear like fashionable jeans yet.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I
I
meant.
see it. I see the vision now.
So you saw Shelby Oaks?
Yeah, it was horrible. It was
Really?
so bad. I
If you say a
love
movie's bad, it must be really bad, because you have a low threshold for the quality of a movie, especially when it's like certain movies. Like, in other words,
that
like
is such a
scary
mean thing to
movies.
say.
You tend to like all. I don't know. You tend to like all kind of like scary and entertaining movies like that. But
I do like horror films more than the average person probably does. But yeah, this one was just awful. And I think the director just kind of gave up halfway through it. And so
that happens
it,
probably more than you realize.
yes, it began so well. It began like a found footage film, which I actually really like those when done well.
Uh-huh.
Like, I love Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Cloverfield is good as well. So this one was just it started out hopeful. I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this concept. And then it kind of switched from found footage to like they're making a documentary about it. So it switched to like a mockumentary style, but then the rest was just regular movie. And they tried to use a lot of cheap CGI. They probably had like $5 of budget for that. And it looked like it, because like the big bad thing, you finally see it. And I'm like, that just looks like a big bunny. And it was supposed to be like a scary demon. So I don't know. It was cornball. It was a cornball movie.
Have
But
you
I
seen
am seeing
Frankenstein yet?
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein in theaters on Friday, on Halloween. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm curious how that works. So, I instead of going to see Frankenstein, I'm going to go see Back to the Future, because it's coming back out.
Is it back in theaters for a little bit?
Yeah, for the
Cute.
40th anniversary. Yeah,
That's a good one. Do you like all three of those movies?
I do. You know, there's a quick story. So the first movie, when Michael J. Fox was making it, he was on Family Ties, and he was still doing the show, season 3 of the show. And I don't know, you know this, but maybe a lot of people don't know, the way they shoot sitcoms is it's a Monday through Friday thing, and they work from 7 a.m. usually to between 5 p.m. and say 8 p.m. every day. And then they shoot the actual, because they do script read, and they do blocking, and then they do rehearsal, and then they shoot it live in front of a studio audience every Friday evening, starting around 5 p.m. and the audience is out of there by 9 p.m. because they have to reshoot scenes and stuff. And he would leave every night, and they would drive him to about an hour away to Glendale, California, and they would shoot Back to the Future. That's why most of the scenes in the first one are at night, because he was only available at night because he's still doing Family Ties, and they wouldn't let him out of his Family Ties commitment. He ended up staying for the whole 5 seasons of Family Ties. But what they did, because they only had Michael J. Fox for like a 3-month period of time to make number 2, they actually shot number 2 and number 3 at the same time.
Oh.
And so they actually shot them both and then released them 2 years apart. They literally shot the 2 movies at the same time.
That's
which
pretty cool.
it was the first time that had ever been done. Saved a little bit of money, not much, but it really saved a lot of time for the people. So all three of them are really well done movies. You know, they're sort of like iconic 80 representation. You know, there's a few movies from the 80s like Breakfast Club, you
Ah,
know, you know, 16 Candles
mhm.
and Back to the Future. I think, you know, Jaws is well,
Yep.
Jaws is 70s, but you know, obviously the third Star Wars, you know, there's certain movies you just remember from the 80s that are just like iconic, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I would
That's
love to
fun.
hear from our viewers. Drop a note in social media. Let us know what your favorites 80s movies are. I think my
Definitely.
favorite all-time 80s movie is Breakfast Club. I mean,
Mine too.
that's it.
The
That's
breakfast. Do you have a Letterboxd account, Gary?
a what?
Oh my god, I'm telling you about a new social media. That's
What it
crazy.
what is it? Letterbox.
Letterboxd. It is like Letterboxd, and it is basically like where you log movies that you've watched, and you can make lists of them, and you can
Oh,
go look
okay.
at what your friends have watched and stuff like that.
And is it like because I have one of those that my daughter told me to get that you log restaurants in. I forget what it's
Kind
called.
of like that,
Yeah.
or like kind of like Goodreads where you log books.
Uh-huh.
But this one
Is this
is
new? Has this been around?
it's been around for a couple years, but it's definitely gained popularity, I think, this year.
Mhm.
And it's very popular because on your profile you have your Letterboxd 4, which are like your top 4 movies of all
Okay.
time.
Yeah,
And
I'm
one
gonna
of
do that.
mine
So I rank my movies because
yeah.
you know, you and I are both big movie buffs. We you know, it's funny before the pandemic, I'd see every movie that came out.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic, less so. I think just the whole excitement of going to a movie theater and the quality of movies just haven't been as good.
Hasn't been as good, no, but I'm like a Alamo member, so I pay the
Yeah,
$20 a month
yeah.
and can see however many movies I want,
And I think
so
part of his television's gotten better.
yeah, it has.
Yeah,
And
so I think
streaming has upped their quality of
yeah,
movies that they produce. So,
yeah. In fact, did you see House of Dynamite yet
no.
on Netflix? You've heard about it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely want to watch it. It's good.
Okay. I'll add it to my list.
Yeah, very good. So anyway, speaking of list, add to your list launch week 12. Today's the second day of launch week 12. Yesterday was digital science.
Experiential signage day.
Yeah, it's digital science / experiential science day. Went really, really well. Today is Ed Tech Day, and I'm going to open it up with a keynote about kind of the latest of educational technology, things to keep in mind when you're
Oh, look, there you are.
look at there. Look at that. That's a nice little graphic. Things to keep in mind when you're designing classrooms. So this session's appropriate for integrators and anyone who is in the higher education space specifically. I think would really enjoy that. And then what else happens after my keynote today, Steph?
So we've got a few like really fun fireside chats. We've got one, you and Mark Donovan of Audio Technica. You guys sat down
Hmm?
and kind of talked a little
Yep.
bit. Like y'all got really sciencey. I
Yeah,
remember
we did. It was good.
Beecham,
He's really good. He's a great
yeah,
guy to talk to. Yeah.
Beecham, who recorded it. She was like, "I think that's the most I've learned in one of those."
Yeah.
So that'll be really exciting. We have a few like product sessions, and then we have two panels. One is on like the hybrid campus, and the
Uh-huh.
other is one that I called Tech Managers Unite, where we have a few tech managers and a few manufacturers kind of coming together and talking about the type of products that they make that are actually for those tech managers at universities. So it'll be fun.
And you can get the tech managers to tell them if they're any good or not.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
today's is worth 3 CTS, CTSI, or CTSD RUs. So if you're in need of those, definitely go and register. We start at 12:30 and we end at about 3:30. So go and register at lavnch.com.
All right. So Shure is one of our partners for rAVe TV. And of course, they always have awesome products. And here's a piece, however, about the importance of security with AV gear and how they're approaching it. So this is, you know, everything's connected to the network now. So we don't want our products to be a whole, you know, security hole. So check this piece out from Shure. Explain to you how they're taking this seriously and why you should as well. It's less than 2 minutes.
In today's technology-driven world, audio conferencing equipment is central to seamless communication. effective presentations, and remote learning or working. But when it comes to securing these AV devices, many institutions fall short, treating them differently from their laptops and other IT equipment. This oversight can put your entire network at risk. It's time to bridge this gap and approach AV device security with the same rigor. Securing AV equipment is more than just a safeguard. It's a strategic move that enhances your organization's reputation, protects sensitive data, and ensures operational continuity. Here are 3 reasons why AV device security is essential. Data protection, network integrity, operational continuity. Implementing robust AV security involves 4 key steps. 1. Network segmentation to isolate AV devices to minimize risk. 2. Stay protected with updated firmware. 3. Strong authentication and encryption. Set and use complex passwords and encrypt data. 4. Establish and educate on AV security policies through training. In an era of sophisticated cyber threats, a proactive approach to AV device security is not just smart, it's essential. Secure your AV equipment, protect sensitive information, and ensure your organization is ready for the future.
Okay, in industry news, let's cover the industry news. Remember, this show is designed to curate the things that you should care about in the industry.
Yep.
If we don't cover it, you shouldn't care about it. Hey, Biamp acquired Clear One in not a surprising move, in the sense that I'm surprised that Clear One wasn't purchased earlier. But ultimately, they've acquired both the Clear One products as well as the intellectual property / patents that they have. Biamp has, if you go back to 10 years ago, Biamp was a company that made audio processing stuff. Since then, they've had probably close to 10. I don't know off the top of my head. We could find out quickly, but acquisitions. We'd have to call Rashid to ask him. But they built a much bigger company doing a lot more things through acquisitions.
Mhm.
Clear One is an acquisition that is closest to what Biamp already does. So I don't know that this necessarily buys them any market share, because I think they're already in the same market that Clear One's in. There's a couple of products that they have that Biamp didn't have. But ultimately, I think what they get out of it is engineering expertise and patents. And I think that's really what they're going to get out of that.
I agree.
Yep.
So in a piece of product news, NanoLumens has launched a 55-inch nano panel. This is a DV LED for high visibility spaces. So this is going to be for your control rooms. This is going to be really good in airports, like seeing your flight information, all of that. So definitely it's made to replace LCD flat panels in a lot of these commercial and mission critical environments, which is something that we've been talking about. We've been talking about, like, don't discount a DV LED. It is getting more affordable, and we're going to start seeing it in a lot more places where we would historically see LCD. So to see the full specs on that, go to ravepups.com.
Okay, so Extron launched what they're calling the NAV E222. So it's easy to remember. It's a USB and HDMI switching encoder for the NAV AV over IP system. So in addition to having HDMI, now they've got USB-C in one encoder, and of course handles audio and handles control and has all the other stuff too. But this is something people have been asking for. Could work in digital signage applications, could work in traditional AV classroom applications, handles 4K 64:44 video. And it also is fully interoperable to do 1 gig or 10 gig or anything in between. You can actually dial it in to be whatever you want it to be, which is that's a unique feature of Extron's AV over IP system.
So we have a more industry focused piece of news. So Daniel Sennheiser has officially been named the chairman of the board of directors at the Sennheiser Group. So basically they announced this leadership transition, and it was co-CEOs. It was Daniel and Andreas, both co-CEOs of Sennheiser. But now I think Daniel's going to be the chairman of board of directors and Andreas is going to continue as CEO. Gary, what's your opinion on something like this? I did think like whenever there are co-CEOs, I do think that just naturally, eventually one will step down and the other will continue on.
Co-CEOs don't work
Right.
because, and the reason why it doesn't work is because one person has to make the hard decisions when you're running a company. And that's why it's always tough when there's a CEO and a president and it's not clear who the decision maker is, right? So a lot of times the president will be in charge of say operations and the CEO will be in charge of all company decisions outside of that. So co-CEOs just doesn't work. And there's not a it's not a thing that lasts very long in most organizations. Most companies, have one CEO, one person who's in charge, regardless of what the position is. So this is a good move. I mean, companies, there's three parts to a company, right?
Yeah.
A company like this, there's the operations side, right? So there's the which includes everything like manufacturing to expediting to management of the facilities and all that kind of stuff, right? And then there's the sales and marketing side, right? And so you could have, for example, a president of operations or a president of sales and marketing, and then you could have accounting as a separate entity. Nowadays sometimes IT and accounting and AI are under a separate umbrella because they have access to security, all those kind of things have a direct pipeline to someone at the top. And so you could have separate presidents or separate leaders, but they got to ultimately report up to somebody who's making that one decision. We're going to cut back. That one decision, we're going to a new market. That one decision, we're going to do this trade show. That kind of thing. So I think this is this is not surprising, but also obviously he's been groomed for this position and probably the best person to step right into it.
I appreciate that. And I would agree. So our other piece of news is this company Zones, which you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this.
They're officially expanding from IT into Pro AV. So kind of bridging IT and AV for those connected experiences that they're already providing. Yeah.
So basically they're a giant IT services company. They do sell a lot of hardware. They're about somewhere between $3 to $4 billion in revenue in the IT space. Something like 2,500 employees. They're based outside of Seattle, Washington. They, of course, kind of came out of the computer market growth. So they started in 1986, which is when Windows really kind of became a big thing, and the Windows have a graphical user interface at that time, and then of course went to became the IBM PS2 took off. So they started in 1986. Big IT integration company, big on managed services. And finally, they're getting into Pro AV. Now, I talked to them 2 years ago about it. At that time, they were like, we don't want to go into Pro AV. Then I keynoted a couple events for them. And they even said to me at that time, don't talk about Pro AV because we're not in that segment of the market.
Yeah.
And but we need you to talk about this other stuff, which was great. But it was interesting because I would finish my keynote and people would come up to me and say, why isn't Zones doing Pro AV? Because they remember they sell directly to end users. They're not a distributor. They sell directly to end users. So they're just like an integrator, but they're now the biggest integrator in the world, right? I mean, technically, but they just don't do much AV stuff yet in our market, right? But they're going to be a force to, they're not going to instantly become $1 billion AV company, but they're going to be a $100 million AV company very rapidly. All the major manufacturers and brands are going after them to have them sign them up, and they're going to provide. They're going to focus on commercial AV, traditional commercial AV. They're going to focus on digital signage, and they're going to focus on UC. Those are the three spaces they're going to focus on, and they'll be successful because there's a lot of end users out there that just want to buy stuff and get it done, right? I mean, if you're higher education, a lot of them buy from CDW. This will give them another option, right? And then in this case, they can buy the stuff they buy from CDW plus offered white labeled managed services and a more thorough option of IT service products. So it'll be very interesting to follow them. I think it's a good thing for our market because it'll also work on the flip side, Steph, where we can bring AV products into the IT space with a giant IT integrator, right? Because this will be the biggest IT company coming into the AV market. They primarily are not probably going to take over any business that the AV integrators have now. That's not where they're going to go. Where they're probably going to see the most success is selling commercial AV products into the clients that they already have. And that's where they're going to be successful. And that's why they're going to grow pretty quickly.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yep.
So we have a few more pieces of news, but first we are going to show you a message from our sponsor and partner, Crestron. We'll be right back.
Okay, so if you're looking for a $2,300 wireless speaker, I got one for you. The Bang & Olufsen has a brand new version of the Beosound A9, which is the big round thing. That's not it. That one there is the A5 portable speaker, which is let me think, how much is the A5? The A5 is like that one that you're looking at there. I think that one's only $1,700. The $2,500 one is the big round one that you see. I see it in the airport. I see it in the airport tech stores. Have you ever noticed that, Steph? They have it in those airport
yes
tech stores.
always in there.
They have a 5th generation of that thing. That is listen, I kind of joke about it, but the thing sounds amazing. Like number one, it looks there you go. It looks really cool. Like it looks like a piece of artwork, right? Sitting in your house. But it sounds amazing because it's not a little small, JBL pill speaker. It's got a lot of power in it. And so they got a new version. It's like the 5th generation or something like that of that product. It just keeps getting better. If I could afford it, I would buy it because I like the look of it. And I think it's kind of cool to have something like that is sort of a piece of art that's also playing music at the same time.
Of course.
Yeah.
But if you can't afford it, that means I sure as hell can't afford it. So
it's just a lot, right?
$23,000, like
$2,300.
That's what? Oh, $2,300.
Yeah, $2,300.
Yeah, that's still too much. That's still too much. There's no reason to spend more than like $500 on a speaker like that.
I mean, it depends. I mean, again, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want beautiful sound, meaning looks beautiful and sounds great,
we're just not that market for that. So
you and I are not the target audience.
No,
the target audience are people that are making a lot more money than us and have much nicer houses than us. But that's okay. I mean, we don't always talk about products only we would buy, right?
Exactly. Because, yes. So, okay. I wrote this piece that is all about mastering classroom audio and like best practices for communication in a learning space. So basically, this is written for those tech managers, those end users, technical end users that might be a little bit new to doing this as a job. And so this is all about like the different microphone options that are out there, how to test what microphone works best in a classroom, all the ANSI standards that you should be following. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can definitely read it at ravepubs.com.
All right. And Sharp introduced some new projectors. For those people that think projectors are going away, they are not. You find me a classroom that's not using a projector. Most of them are. And they have the they've grown the A series and the V series. The A series is 8,000 to 17,000 ANSI limits. So this can go into lecture halls, large lecture halls. The V series is all 7,000 and 8,000 ANSI limits projectors. They'll go in any classroom. So these are brand new products with various resolutions depending on what you're trying to do. They also all of them include Naviset Administrator 2 software for centralized management, and they can also handle the multi-display tile matrix system, so you can put them together real easy for image mapping. So anyway, yeah. So new projector, Steph. What do you think?
No, I think that's very awesome. And
yeah, and don't forget, this is Sharp bought NEC Display, right? So this is part of that, combining those two brands that they've been doing. So yeah, don't forget about EdTech Day today on launch week. Starts at 12:30 Eastern time, right after we restream rAVe TV. It'll launch, and I'll start it off.
Yeah, we're very excited. We will see you there. And thank you guys for watching and spending your Wednesday mornings with us. We will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.